Freedom March with Rodney Munker. Up next on ILTV.
The thoughts, views, and comments expressed by Rodney Munker, his guests, callers, and advisors on Freedom March are not necessarily those of management, ownership, or production unit of ILS or the Verizon Media Group. Freedom March is a product of ILTV Studios and cannot be reproduced or represented, in part or entirety, without express written consent of the Verizon Media Group. Freedom March is the intellectual property of the Verizon Media Group. Copyright 2024. All rights are reserved.
Marijuana is a dangerous drug.
The Queen is dead! God save the King!
There can never be rape in marriage. BMW? Sound like bad man wagon. Not only am I saved, I'm saved and sanctified. The revolution is alive, and we must continue to document it.
Freedom!
Broadcasting live from the ILTV studios located here at University Drive. Welcome once again to Freedom March. My name is Rodney Munker. I'm a Justice of the Peace here in the Commonwealth of the Bahamas. I'm also a member of the local Catholic Christian community. My spiritual advisor is Bradley Roll. Bradley, welcome to Freedom March.
Thank you so much. Good to be here.
Today is Monday, the 3rd day of February in the year of our Lord 2025. At this very moment on Cowpen Road, the Department of Environmental Health has raided a coal-making factory. So that is what is taking place. You know how you make coal? You go into the forest, you catch wood, you burn it. Well, the Department of Environmental Health is there, and we are receiving reports that those investors, that's the people who burn coal, they are very upset. So as soon as I can get some more information, I'll share it with you.
Investors.
On the weekend, we've had a number of killings. There was one at the King's Prison. A Negro man, reportedly in his 60s, he was stabbed to death, I'm advised, by another inmate. So that is one of the crimes that we are learning of. And of course, on Sunday afternoon, if I have it correctly, a 60-year-old Negro man was stabbed to death about 15 feet south of the Reverend C.B. Moss Church. So it's a very scandalous affair, and the police is investigating. Meanwhile, a number of Negro suspects have or shall be arraigned in the magistrate court for murder. Among them are 2 Negro gangsters responsible for the killing of the young mother from Abaco. You would recall that a couple days ago, a young lady was murdered on Finlayson Street. Well, we are told that the police has 2 suspects. This is Freedom March. God save the Commonwealth of the Bahamas. God save the King. It's a wonderful day in the Bahamas. My special guest is the national chairman of the Free National Movement, Dr. Dwayne San. God save the King. We'll be right back after the break. Hold on.
Freedom March with Rodney Munker will be right back after this. This is Freedom March with Rodney Monker.
Welcome back to Freedom March. My name is Rodney Monker, and we'll start the show off by going straight to my spiritual advisor, Bradley Roll. Bradley, welcome to Freedom March.
Thank you so much, Santa. Today we got a reading today from the book of Luke, chapter 9, beginning at verse number 57. Follow me carefully as I read this passage of scripture to you. I'm reading from the NIV. And here's what Jesus says. As they were walking along the road, a man said to him, I will follow you wherever you go. Jesus replied, foxes have dens, and birds have nests, but the Son of Man has no place to lay his head. He said to another man, follow me. But he replied, Lord, first let me go and bury my father. And Jesus said to him, go ahead, producer. Jesus said to him, let the dead bury their own dead, but you go and proclaim the kingdom of God. Still another said, I will follow you, Lord, but first let me go back and say goodbye to my family. Jesus replied, no one who puts a hand to the plow and looks back is fit for service in the kingdom of God. Luke chapter 9, verses 57 to 62. I read from the NIV. The word of God is forever and ever blessed. Thank you, Medusa.
Thank you, my spiritual advisor. Well, put the camera on me. This is powerful. Well, folks, in the island of New Providence over the weekend, we seems to have had some very serious criminal activities. One, we had a murder which took place at the King's Prison in Fox Hill, in which it is reported that a 60-year-old Negro male by the name of Brody Fritz, he apparently got into a dispute and he was stabbed. That is the report that we are receiving. And so that is a very tragic situation. If you thought that was bad, on Sunday, another 60-year-old male, he is affectionately called Clark or Clarky. Clarky was stabbed to death, so that is another police investigation. And then, of course, you would recall that about 2 weeks ago, a Negro young lady, she was able to escape a house that was on fire. She discovered that she was also on fire. She was taken to hospital. She has subsequently died, and we are advised that today a Negro man shall be charged with the ascent of her home and her murder. So there's some of the crime reports that we have. But of course, I have in studio with me the national chairman of the King's official opposition, Dr. Dwayne Sands. Dr. Sands, welcome to Freedom March. Give me a bump.
Mr. Monker, it's an absolute privilege and pleasure to be here with you. It's been too long.
This is powerful. Well, we're happy to have you here, and we're not going to waste your time. Tell us, what is the status of the Free National Movement? Is there unity in view of the fact that the former Prime Minister and leader of the Free National Movement, he's complaining, he's fundamentally upset over the fact that at 70, he's being called to go into a cadre class for re-education in preparation for nomination and the upcoming election. Is that rule applicable to Dr. Minnis? And if so, why?
So, first of all, let me thank you for the invitation.
Yes.
And, you know, I noticed the smile. I didn't say smirk on your face as you were having a hard time keeping a straight face to ask that question. Okay? And I see the mischievous basis.
I'm going to put the PLP question.
Basis of the question.
I'm going to put the PLP question to you, but right now,
But-
I want to find out what is the state of the opposition.
Yes.
Because
So His Majesty's loyal opposition is actively preparing, by the grace of God and the support of the wonderful voters in this country, to take over the reins of governance in this country. We have gone through now almost 4 years of gangster rule, and we find that the Bahamas is a ship adrift. We are in the midst of a cost of living crisis, a crime crisis, a housing crisis, immigration crisis, you name it. All of the promises made by this administration, I know the old people say a promise is a comfort to a fool, haven't come to fruition. The Prime Minister was just in Grand Bahama the other day making more promises. He promised that the Grand Lucayan Hotel would be sold. 4 months ago, he said about 2 weeks.
Is this the Grand? What is the name of the hotel?
Lucaya.
Is that the Lucaya that the Free National Movement purchased?
One and the same.
It's the same.
One and the same.
That the
Governments are
FNM
continuous,
purchase.
Governments are continuous.
Despite the fact that the Progressive Liberal Party and opposition had told the Free National Movement it was not the right thing to do. I just want to establish that point. But go right ahead.
So, we have been preparing, and as a part of that preparation, we wanted to make sure that our candidates were adequately prepared. And so all candidates who wish to carry the mantle
of the party,
yes, have been asked to participate in this program.
Is it fair, taking into consideration
all candidates? All candidates.
Yes, I understand
all
that,
candidates.
but I want to put the question to you.
All candidates.
Yes, but is it fair, taking into consideration that Dr. Minnis led the Free National Movement in the 2017 election, and while Hubert Ingram has killed his 1,000, Dr. Minnis has slaughtered tens of thousands. Do you think it is fair that he should be subjected to a cadre class?
As I said,
yes, all should.
All persons interested in representing the Free National Movement in the upcoming general election,
yes,
were mandated to take the course.
And if you don't attend, is there any consequences?
In life, there are no rewards or punishments, only consequences.
Only consequences. Okay. All right, but I'll leave that one alone. Let's go to the PLP. You made reference to gangsterism. Do you believe that every member of parliament ought to be accountable and transparent?
I think so.
What are your views in view of the fact that your deputy leader, Shenandoah Cartwright, has not given this nation an accounting of the $36 million which he is alleged to have managed when Dr. Minnis was Prime Minister and you were Minister of Health? How do you view that?
This is an interesting allegation, and like you say, it's an allegation, or he is alleged. And I am sure that if there were significant concerns, this would have been moved beyond the point of an idle allegation or speculation.
I want you to repeat that again. I want the PLP to hear you. Tell that to them again.
I just said it.
I want you to tell that to them.
Let the chips fall as they may.
I want the PLP to hear.
This administration has weaponized.
What? Dr. Dwayne Sands has just said. And I call on the PLP to stop protecting this man.
You mean the fact that they have weaponized the judicial system,
Not
the police,
not as it relates,
etc., to go after every single person that they
Shannon
find
Daw.
a problem with.
Except Shannon Daw.
Well, I mean, we expect that every single F&M politician
Okay.
will find themselves at one point or the other the subject of an investigation.
Would that be similar to what the F&M did with the PLPs?
Absolutely not. I think that in the Bahamas,
Why would you
what
say
ought to
absolute-
happen,
Yes.
what ought to happen is that the rule of law determines what happens, and that investigation should be carried out without fear or favor. And so when we raise concerns about the independence of the police, when we raise the questions about whether or not democracy has been threatened in this country, and we call for a commission of inquiry, it is because it is so important that the message go out there that the police and all of the uniformed services are free of political interference, that they carry out their mandate without concern as to what color you wear, who you are, what your last name is, etc.
Are you suggesting that that is what is happening now?
I am suggesting that there
Are you
are some
suggesting-
significant concerns about certain things that have happened recently, most recently with the peculiar, unusual appointment of a second deputy commissioner of police.
But are
who happens to enjoy, I am advised,
Yes.
a $1 million contract with the government of the Bahamas.
Okay. But when it comes to the appointment of 2 deputy commissioner of police, are you not aware that Hubert Ingram, the first prime minister of the Free National Movement, that he named the first 2 deputy commissioner of police, namely Mr. Elliston
Greenslade and Marvin Dames.
And yes, what is the difference?
You know, we could go back through history and try and relate, they did this, therefore we can do that. What is true is that historically, the Progressive Liberal Party has made the Royal Bahamas Police Force a top-heavy institution with far more chiefs than Indians, to the point where we had more assistant commissioners of police than Scotland Yard.
We do a better job here in the Bahamas than Scotland Yard.
That may be the case.
The facts
That
of the
may be
matter
the case,
is,
but it's difficult to imagine why a
every
country
murder-
of 400,000.
every murder that has been committed in the last couple of days, the police has arrested a suspect, and there are a number of murderers who are being marched to the magistrate court today.
Well, I mean,
So certainly we're getting money's worth for the amount of chiefs which you claim.
So, I think we all invested heavily in reducing or seeing a reduction in crime. I was pleased to listen to the commissioner's report about the 10% year-over-year reduction in crime.
Yes.
Unfortunately, that did not include a reduction in murders.
Okay.
And one of the high-profile crimes that remains out of control in this country is murder.
It's murder. But you would recall that when you were first elected, your party and your then party leader campaigned that if you are successful, you would move to introduce capital punishment. Are you aware of that?
Yes, and you and I share a position.
Yes.
You and I both support capital punishment.
You and I.
Okay.
But your
Now,
party.
understand
that had an
understand that
opportunity.
there's more to this than just you and I.
Yes. I accept that.
Okay.
You and I.
You support capital punishment, right?
You and I were.
Do you believe I support capital punishment?
Yes.
Okay.
But
Now,
notwithstanding that, you have to accept the fact that you were in the cabinet.
when was the last hanging in this country? Under which administration?
Not since January 6, 2000. Hubert Ingram was prime minister. Yeah. But
Has there been a hanging since?
there's not.
Okay.
But you would promise, along with Dr. Minnis, Michael Pintard, and the others, that an F&M government would move the impediment and have capital punishment.
And I believe that a Michael Pintard-led administration, and I'm going to look directly at your viewing audience,
Look
and say to your listening audience that we recognize the need to further define what is the worst of the worst and the circumstances by which
But you're an educated
an
man,
individual,
and you would know that
an
the
individual,
English, you would know that the English made fun of the Negroes, since the voice of the voice is imperfect English.
well, I mean, you
So
know,
I'm
I
gonna-
don't
I'm
think
gonna-
you and I are at odds here. You know.
Right. So I want you to now, let's look at the F&M. Michael Pintard was the national chairman of the Free National Movement, while Minnis was the leader. You have to admit,
In opposition.
in government,
In opposition.
what Michael was when Minnis became prime minister,
He had resigned before the election of 2017.
and who became the
Sidney Colley.
yes.
Don't forget.
are
Don't forget.
correct.
You ran in that
Sydney-
election.
Sydney beat me. Yes.
You ran.
No, I accept that.
You ran in the election to be
yes.
chairman of the Free National
That is
Movement
true.
in 2016.
And you all made a mistake and vote for that lousy
So
man.
that is when you considered yourself aligned with the tenets of the Free National
I'm
Movement.
still in
And then you
alignment
went to
with
the
the
dark
tenet.
side.
No.
And we've been praying for you ever since.
No.
But, you know,
No. But the facts of the matter is the Free National Movement did come to power, and not a minister, not a member of the F&M moved any bill. Let's concede that the F&M misled us on that.
there's nothing to concede.
You don't want to concede that was the election promise and it didn't happen. We must concede that.
At the end of the
See,
day,
those of us who come to equity must come with clean hands.
Precisely.
Let you and I admit that we misled the public.
so this is the same way that this administration promised to sell Al-Uqayya, to rebuild the Grand Bahama Airport, to finish the accident emergency at Princess Margaret Hospital,
Hold the
to
thought.
bring down the cost of
Hold
electricity.
the thought. We can discuss it.
Okay.
My special guest is my doctor, Dr. Dwayne Sands. We're going to discuss the issue. One F&M to another F&M. It's powerful. Hold on, everybody. We'll be right back.
The thoughts, views, and comments expressed by Rodney Munker, his guests, and callers on Freedom March are not necessarily those of the management, ownership, or production unit of the Verizon Media Group. Freedom March is a production of ILTV and cannot be reproduced or represented in part or entirety without express written consent of the Verizon Media Group. Freedom March is the intellectual property of the Verizon Media Group. Copyright 2020. All rights are reserved.
Welcome back to Freedom March. My name is Rodney Munker. My special guest is Dr. Dwayne Sands, who is the national chairman of the official opposition Free National Movement. But before we continue, my spiritual advisor will pay some bills. Bradley?
Nassau, Bahamas, get ready for a night to remember. Alpha Sound Promotions invites you to a back of love, an unforgettable evening of smooth R&B vibes and cherished memories. Join us at the Nassau Cruise Port on Saturday, February the 15th for a spectacular all-white affair you won't want to miss, featuring performances by Freddie Jackson, Regina Bell, and the Essence Band. Tickets are available at bahamasticket.com, Plantation Bar and Grill, Big Boys Cafe, Tropics Bar and Grill. For more information, contact us at 822-6863. That's 822-6863. Mark your calendar, dress in your finest white attire, and join us for a night of love, music, and pure elegance. Everybody needs money always, so send money internationally and locally to Western Union. With Money Max, download the Money Max app today to send cash instantly to a family member or friend anytime and anywhere. Sending money has never been simpler. The app is available on the Apple Store and Google Play Store. Money Max. Live your max life. Do you enjoy watching Freedom March? If so, advertise your business today for as low as $50. Contact us now at 557-0258 or 557-0259 for the Impact Package. Thank you, producer. Back to you, Sandra.
I thank you, my spiritual advisor. Dr. Dwayne Sands, in fairness to you, where do you want to start from?
I think we should talk about the state of our beloved country.
Okay.
And whether or not we are happy with where we are, whether the average Bahamian finds themselves better off in 2025 than they did in 2021.
Okay, go ahead.
I would posit that the economy of the Bahamas has excluded the majority of Bahamians.
Really?
Except for a select group of preferred individuals. The average Bahamian has found life to be far more difficult in 2025 than in 2021.
What about in 2020?
Well, I think we're in the middle of an international pandemic, and life was challenging for everybody around the world.
But who did you all give the contracts to? The average Negro citizen didn't get any of the contracts.
That's nonsense.
So you
That's
name somebody. I'm going to show you somebody who got, and then you show me a Negro person who got.
Okay, go ahead. You start.
Let us start with Lynn Hollowesco.
I don't believe that Lynn Hollowesco, and I think it's very careful that you know which Hollowesco participated in the food program, but it certainly was not Lynn Hollowesco, the former president of the Senate.
Who Hollowesco?
I think it was Susan, and her last name, I believe, was Larson, but not Hollowesco. But again, I think we got to be very careful, Mr. Munker, not to take liberties with people's reputations and names.
You're not aware that Minis give the Hollowescos most of the contracts?
The Hollowescos are not a single entity. That's like saying gave the Rolls, that gave the Munkers, that gave the Sands.
Let's rephrase it.
Let's be precise.
Let's be precise.
Because I think what you're doing here is sullying the reputation of somebody who has contributed mightily to the growth of this country.
Goodness of mercy.
As the former president of the Senate, okay?
Yeah.
Let us be very, very careful how
So you're not aware of what Minister was doing?
I don't know what you're talking about. What are you talking about?
You didn't know when Minister give Holovesco them plenty contract?
I'm not aware of that.
Well, since you're not aware, I won't put you on the
But
spot.
I know that this
You know
administration.
he was.
this administration.
You know he was a competent authority.
You know this administration claimed.
Go ahead.
That there was some malfeasance or misfeasance with the award of the feeding program some 3 years ago.
But are you not?
Here we are 3 years later,
Are you
and we
not-
have seen no evidence to
You're
that.
not aware that Holovesco
date.
sent back $1 million, Dr. Dwayne Sands? You're not aware of that?
And your point?
No, I'm asking you.
And your point?
What
about a $180 million contract, no bid contract for road paving in Eleuthera? What about a fella who is given a contract and then given an award and then becomes a commissioner of police? What about somebody who is appointed the deputy commissioner of police that has a sitting $1 million contract with the government of the Bahamas today? What about the no bid contracts totaling $200 million for a bunch of PLPs?
What about the
That
F&M?
is gangsterism.
Yes.
That is gangsterism.
What about the F&M Minister of National Security who got a big contract?
Minister of National Security.
Yeah.
Explain. Tell me about it.
Minister ain't tell you?
No, tell me. I want you to tell me about it on national TV.
No. Minister
Tell me
you?
about it. Tell me about it.
Was Marvin the Minister of National Security?
And a very good one.
Did he run a security company?
And he did.
He ran a security company?
Yes.
Okay. Well, we need not go any further than that. But he was Minister of National Security.
This is called innuendo and speculation.
No, that's no
evidence,
innuendo.
Was
he the Minister of National Security?
He who
you
accuses,
said yes.
Provide your evidence,
Yeah,
or
but-
withdraw. It's as simple as that.
The same thing.
Monica.
I want you to hear me out.
Yes, sir.
Because you obviously wasn't aware of what the competent authority was doing.
Yeah, but you're using a little
Right?
innuendo, a
No
little supposition,
innuendo.
a little,
You have
sleight of hand, smoke and mirrors.
You repeated, Mr. Help me out with the Minister of National Security name. Dames, innuendo, as it relates to the Deputy Commissioner of Police.
No, it's not innuendo.
But
the
records,
the records are there.
The record would also
and they were published by the government of the Bahamas.
It would also show that the Minister of National Security also had a security company.
Produce the records.
Man, it's there.
Okay.
It's there.
So let's go to where the Bahamian people can find the information
Of his company?
No, about the contract
In the case
held by the Deputy Commissioner of Police.
In the case of...
So go to the public notice, the Procurement Department, published July of 2024, listed under the Bahamas Project Award report, line 147, published in July last year. And you will find the award to the current Deputy
Now, when you
Commissioner
didn't
of
show me
Police.
that, I want you to show me what award the Holovescos got. Go to the procurement and tell me what they got.
This is nothing. This report is subsequent to 2021. A whole bunch of no bid contracts
Yeah, I hear what you're saying.
against the law, against the existing law in the Commonwealth of the
I'm
Bahamas.
saying to you, to go to
How can the government of the Bahamas give contracts in the tune of $200 million without any open bidding?
But the Free National Movement is guilty of the same
You take
crime.
$2 million, you
But
take
the-
$10 million, you
but-
take $100 million, you take
but
$50 million.
Isn't the F&M guilty of the same crime?
My brother, again, innuendo. I am coming with facts.
But you're in the cabinet.
I'm coming with facts.
You can get the same facts.
But produce the facts.
I don't have the facts.
Thank you very much.
But you have access to the procurement. You have a smartphone. You're telling me that you're not aware that the Holovescos got big juicy contract?
I am saying
Come on.
that a member of that family supervised the feeding program, which was very successful in allowing Bahamian people to eat. And you have
The The Hollow Wesco ain't give me an ounce of grits. I ain't get not a tuna.
Where'd you get your food from?
Huh?
Other people did though.
No, we don't.
Thousands of Bahamians did. Thousands of Bahamians.
You didn't get what you didn't want.
My spiritual advisor, please keep out of this, eh?
All right.
Keep out of this
Miss
and
Monica.
pray that the FNM could win so you can get a little something. Keep out of this. Don't defend
Mr. Monica.
Hollow Wesco and
Let
that.
us-
Let
you-
us
you
not
didn't get other
disparage
I'm not
ordinary
disparaging.
Bahamians, okay?
Did Lynn Hollow Wesco children them turn in some money to the PLP? You're not aware of that?
Not to the PLP.
Who they turned it into?
To the government of the Bahamas.
Yeah,
the
back to the
Treasury of
public treasury.
Bahamas.
$2 million.
How much?
Now, where did the,
How
where
much
did-
million?
where
There
did the
was two.
PLP then? Anyway, I won't make that
Yeah,
comment.
let's not make it.
I won't make that comment.
Now,
But just
I
because-
want to go. I
Can I get a
want to
second?
ask you.
But it's clear that you are defending the PLP.
No, I'm looking at the facts.
So, you know, as we sit here, I think it's obvious.
You tell me about the Deputy Commissioner of Police, and I told you about the Minister of National Security.
The Minister of National Security who supervised a national approach to crime that saw a dramatic reduction in violent crime and the lowest murder rate in the last 2 decades. That one? That's the one you're talking about?
Name him.
Marvin Dames.
And he didn't have a security.
We saw
license?
murders drop
He-
precipitously
So
during his
so,
tenure.
So we're gonna leave the security aspect.
and then
of
right
it.
in 2021 started
See,
going up
all
again.
I'm saying is, he who comes to equity must come with clean hands.
Has the
And-
murder rate in the Bahamas increased during the tenure of the current Minister of National Security, Wayne Monroe,
Well,
and the PLP?
you give me the facts. What are the facts?
Absolutely it has.
Okay. Well, I blame it on the FNM
Why?
because the FNM said it was committed to moving the impediment and failed to do so.
Which impediment is this?
The impediment that prevents the state from hanging murderers.
Well, you know, again,
We know that-
you and I don't have.
We know that in the
don't-
case of the PLP, they never said that they supported capital punishment.
So you don't
But
find this
the
to be a
FN
conflict for you?
There's no conflict for me.
That this administration that you support does not support capital
I
punishment?
had no other choice because ministers misled us, and you did nothing about it. So I had to help to get rid of it.
You support the PLP,
It's better than the FNM we
who
had.
doesn't support capital punishment,
I'm working on them.
even as murders increase in this
I'm
country.
working on them.
But you're a consultant in the fight against crime.
Not.
What has your recommendation been
Please,
to
that
this
is not- that-
administration?
Go back to the procurement and see what my title is. Do not put the Tribune and the party's propaganda on me.
Yes, sir.
All right?
No problem.
And that is the problem. If you wasn't my doctor, I would say, man, you must see jealousy. Stop putting on me what I'm not. Anyway, let's go to the FNM. I want to ask you an FNM question.
Absolutely.
Renwood Wells, my nephew told me that Renwood been to the house and Ramona Farquharson been to the house. What's going on? Are we taking the nomination
we have had
from Renwood?
a large number of qualified patriotic Bahamians offer themselves as aspiring candidates for the Free National Movement.
Do you think Ramona is more patriotic than decent Renwood Wells?
I did not make such a statement.
Okay.
What I did say is that we have almost 100 persons who have offered themselves to serve.
And they all attended the classes?
And the overwhelming majority of them did indeed.
Okay.
Okay?
Okay.
And so, you know, we're going to have a difficult time choosing, because obviously at this point there are only 39 constituencies.
Okay.
And so if you got almost 100, then the majority of those persons who are offering will not have an opportunity to run.
To what extent the constituency will play a role?
We have made it very clear that the role of the Constituency Association and the executive will be considered and respected Okay?
Okay.
But the process in the Free National Movement, as you may know from the time that you spent in the Free National Movement, is that the executive committee forms the candidate selection committee, and then after appropriate vetting, security vetting, financial vetting, ethical vetting, etc., will make a recommendation to the Central Council of the Free National Movement that will ultimately ratify after consideration of the opinion, often given in writing, by the executives of the constituency association.
Now
Some of whom have already expressed their views.
Okay. Now, you talk about security vetting. What do we mean by that?
Well, I mean, you have a series of local and international vettings to determine whether or not Dwayne Sands is a felon, whether or not he has committed a crime, either here or abroad, whether that's a financial crime, a violent crime, a commercial crime, etc. It is very, very important that candidates are appropriately vetted, and people agree that it is better that they undergo scrutiny prior to being nominated than after. Because once you have nominated, there's no turning back, eh?
What do we mean by ethic security?
No, I'm saying ethics. So is Rodney Munkar a person of high ethical standing? Is he somebody who, whatever buck up goes, or he is the kind of person who, adopts an approach to life and his dealings that is Christian-like? I mean, I guess that's the appropriate analogy
Christian.
to make.
Well, certainly then.
And I use Christian in the generic sense of the term. Okay?
That's proper. We know that Renwick Wealth is a born-again Christian. We know he's saved. We know he's sanctified. We know the church denomination that he was trained in. But in the case of the other person, there's no evidence that she's saved.
Well,
How would you determine?
What do you have against any other person who, and particularly since you're not a part of the Free National Movement, how would that fall before you?
Well, I just told you what my nephew said to me.
But who's your nephew?
I don't want to call his name.
Okay, then. So he has no standing.
A voter.
Ultimately,
A voter.
Ultimately,
Are
somebody
Are you
who
saying to
is
me that a
anonymous,
voter?
somebody who is
No.
anonymous.
Hear me out. I don't want to call my nephew name.
Okay.
All right.
Okay.
For family reason.
Okay.
He ain't say to me now, Uncle, when you get on the TV, tell Dr. Dwayne Sands it's me. But I told you it's my nephew. And so I'm curious, I'm very curious because one, in the case of Renwick Bell, he is my...
See, I would dismiss
He's
this
my personal
information
friend.
as hearsay.
You could call it hearsay. And in my case, I know the young lady. She punched me before.
Did you deserve to be punched?
No.
You sure?
No, I didn't.
So,
I didn't deserve to be punched.
I think-
And
I
guess where
think-
she punched me? In my testicles.
I don't believe that,
And guess where I was standing when she punched me in my testicles?
Mr. Monco.
Guess where I was standing when she punched me in my testicle? In the front of the Supreme Court.
Then you could have brought up on charges for assault.
The police refused to do anything.
So they said you deserve to be punched.
They didn't say that.
So, look, I think it's very important in our country that any potential candidate on either side or on any side, since there's more than two political organizations vying for leadership of this country,
Right.
that all of the candidates, or as many of the candidates that are vying, are of high moral standard, that they are not bankrupt, that's a constitutional requirement, eh?
Okay.
And that they have the highest ethical standard, and that they are true patriots.
Okay. So would I be able to write the party and tell the party that on the day her client was acquitted for the murder of my first cousin's son, that she was so offended that she punched me in my testicle outside the Supreme Court.
How long ago was this alleged to have happened?
This happened in 2009 or 10.
So, according to my understanding of Bahamian law, the statute of limitations for lodging such a complaint has now expired.
I'm not talking about the police, I'm talking about the politics of the matter.
Right.
Because you talk about ethics. See, I know, in the case of Renwood Bells,
I would say that Mr. Monker now raising this matter 16 years after it was alleged to have happened.
I've always raised that
Must
on my
be
show.
playing politics.
No, I've always raised that. If you were to check my clips, every time she comes up, I give the story how she draw off and punch me in my testicles. You heard me?
I hear you.
After there were two clients, one she didn't represent, he got convicted, he got 25 years for the murder of my first cousin's son, Derek Davis' son, Cody Davis of Fox Hill.
So it is my understanding then that you probably would not support her candidacy.
Not over Renwood, because Renwood Wells has been kind to me.
But what makes you think that they are competing with each other?
Because that is what my nephew told me, who lived in the constituency.
But your nephew wouldn't know.
Well, he claims that she is campaigning
There have
for the
been
nomination.
Aspiring candidates ratified for any constituency.
I didn't say ratify.
Anywhere.
I didn't say ratify. I didn't say she was ratified.
So we have not allocated.
So you're not aware that she's interested in Fox in Bamboo Town?
Any persons that are on the street for the Free National Movement now are undifferentiated, okay? Meaning that they have expressed an interest of carrying the banner of the Free National Movement. But any time between now and when decisions are made, John could go here, Sally could go there, Mary could go here, and so on and so forth.
Well, Ramona is in Bamboo Town. You heard it from me. Okay? Yeah. And I plan to challenge her nomination. And
on what standing?
I just told you what the woman did to me outside the Supreme Court.
What standing do you have in the Free National Movement to challenge? You have no standing.
I have a standing.
You have no standing at all.
Just hear me out. While you may think I don't have any standing, you're the national chairman, right?
Yes.
Yeah. But there's a man.
I have the job that you were trying to get.
There's a man I deal with who's greater than you.
The Lord Almighty.
Who's that? All right. And so all I'm saying is, as a citizen, I think I have a right to oppose her. Now, you now say...
But you got to write me.
Well, you're not interested in that, so I'll have to talk to the people in Bamboo Town.
Okay.
That's the point I'm making.
All right.
Watch what I said.
No problem.
My nephew, who's aware of the assault upon me, immediately informed me, Uncle, guess who's down here campaigning?
Do you have any other persons that you have similar concerns for in the COI, in the PLP, or any other political organization?
Well, there is another person that
So the gentleman
this one is personal.
Who have abused the people of Eleuthera with no water, no electricity, no internet over the last year. Are you going to support them?
If I'm going to support which person?
The two sitting members of parliament for the island of Eleuthera. You have a member of parliament in the north.
Tell me how.
You have a member of parliament in the south.
Tell me how did he abuse them?
Anytime people can get water to bathe,
basic necessities,
and you're promising them not for a week, not for a month, not for 2 months, not for 6 months, but for more than a year, that you can solve the problem. And this morning in Spanish Wells, they ain't had no water to bathe. This morning. Okay? That's abuse.
Yeah, that shouldn't be happening.
And this administration has demonstrated to the people of Eleuthera that they could care less about them as human beings.
Oh, come on now.
They could care less about them.
Come on.
Because as far as they're concerned, they don't need to flush the toilet, they don't need to bathe, they don't need to wash their clothes.
Inhumane.
Abuse. That's what it is. Abuse.
And what do you plan to do to rectify it?
Certainly, I believe that they will be shown that they are human beings and that they deserve to be treated far better than this. When you got people flying up and down first class in private jets and eating fine meals and sleeping in the best hotels, etc.
Who's doing that now?
This current administration.
What do you mean by that?
The fella's gone to Washington, D.C.,
See,
I understand, and end up, most they could do is a Zoom interview with Maxine
you're not
Waters,
suggesting to me that you are anti-Trump too. I want to beseech you publicly to stop your racism.
My racism?
Yes, I want you to stop it. There's a fundamental error that black people are making.
And that is?
We'll talk about it when I come back. It's Trump. 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 This is Freedom March. My special guest is my doctor, Dr. Dwayne Sands. I'll be right back after the break. Hold on, everybody.
Freedom March with Rodney Munker will be right back after this. This is Freedom March with Rodney Monker.
Welcome back to Freedom March. My name is Rodney Monker. Bradley Roll is my spiritual advisor, and in studio with me is my doctor and the party national chairman, Dr. Dwayne Sands. We're going to do birthdays, and then afterward, we will take on the good doctor. Bradley, are you ready with the birthdays?
Yeah, we got a couple of birthdays. February the 3rd, Sister Dorothy Bain is celebrating a birthday. I think she celebrated last week, so coming from the members of the Church of Christ, happy birthday to Dorothy Bain, fabulous woman. We are, of course, very happy that she's enjoying her birthday. May God continue to bless you with many more to come. Jewel from Harry Park. Happy birthday to Dorothy Bain. Sandra Lightburn. Happy birthday to Sandra Lightburn. Enjoy your special Earth Day. God's richest blessings for many more to come. It's coming from your family and friends, and also those who love you. So happy birthday to Sandra Lightburn. Kalisa Maki, happy birthday. Happy 29th birthday to Kalisa Maki. It's coming from your fiance, Rudolph Johnson, your kids, Crochet, Zayden, and Zoe, and all who love you in Lutheran. Enjoy your special day. Happy birthday, Kalisa Maki. Diana Johnson. Oh, happy birthday, Diana. I haven't seen you for a long time. Happy birthday to Diana Johnson. 73. Wow. 73 years of age. May God continue to bless you and bless you from your granddaughter, Molly. Happy birthday to Diane Johnson. Raven Pratt. Happy birthday to Raven Pratt from your dad, Rudy Pratt Jr., your brothers Ryan and Rashawn, your grandparents Sheenie and Rudy Pratt, your uncles Angelo Berlin and Rashad, your grand-aunts Carla Sharia and Tonette, and your uncle Derek Davis. So Raven Pratt, happy birthday to you. All the best. We hope you live to enjoy many, many more. Cheria, producer, what's that? Ooh. Arachera Smith. Nemo Silva, happy birthday. Happy belated birthday to you. It's coming from your family and friends. All right. Sheenie Pratt, happy birthday to our mom, Sheenie Pratt, coming from her sons, Rudy Jr., Angelo Berlin, and Shad Shanti, and from her sisters, Tonette, Carla, and Sharia, and her brother, Derek Davis, and the grandkids. Okay, so happy birthday to Sheenie Pratt. Condolences, Senator Sharon Louise Monker.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, so condolences goes out to the family who's lost Sharon Louise Monker. May she rest in peace. Condolences to the entire family. Is this your family, Rodney?
Yes.
Okay. Is your cousin?
Yes.
Okay, so my condolences to you, Santa, and your family in the passing of your cousin, your loved one. All right, condolences to the family. And luckily that's it.
I thank you, my spiritual advisor. So folks, we have Dr. Dwayne Sands. He was once the F&M Minister of Health under Dr. Hubert Alexander Minnis. Dr. Sands, the state of the Princess Margaret Hospital, what are your views on the state of the Princess Margaret Hospital?
Mr. Monker, it hurts me that, and I want to be as balanced and as fair as possible, that we have not as a people, as successive administrations, made our preeminent national hospital far better than it is. And I think there is blame to be shared around, but we could do far better.
Now, when you say blame to be shared around, what do you mean by that?
I am saying that no single administration should bear the brunt of this responsibility. We have collectively not done what we ought to have done. And I include my tenure as minister, that I am disappointed that I did not get more accomplished during my term as minister. But I think that our people, our mothers, fathers, grandmothers, grandfathers, are entitled to better. Healthcare for me is very important, particularly for those people that cannot afford, that don't have health insurance, that don't have the means. And what we do in our public healthcare system is just not acceptable.
What is your understanding of the Doctors Alliance? Am I saying it correctly?
Physicians Alliance.
The Physician Alliance. Am I correct in saying it seems to be private doctors who have taken over the private ward and the surgical private ward of the government's own Princess Margaret Hospital, like a hospital within a hospital. Am I correct?
Well, you are kind of approximating it. So let me very quickly give you a story. Physicians Alliance was formed, I believe, in the late 80s, early 90s, as a means to purchase equipment that was not available in the healthcare system. Ultrasound for pregnant women, cardiac equipment, etc.
Do you know if they did?
They did.
And these equipments are working?
Yes. Okay. So it then progressed to the point where there was a need to redevelop the private services, and an agreement was made with what was then the Public Hospital Authority at the time to renovate the private services, staff the private services, etc. And then the cost and the profits would be shared between Physicians Alliance and the Public Hospital Authority. And
are you aware if profits are being shared?
yes, I am. And
Are you aware if expenses are being shared?
yes.
Would you agree with me that the government pays more than the Physician Alliance?
I don't know that is the case. The hospital or the government provides the rooms, some of the ancillary staff. Physicians Alliance pays for, what happens in the operating room and so on and so forth. Okay. The revenue of the Public Hospital Authority, which is probably less than $20 million a year, the overwhelming majority of it comes through private services. Okay. And I think we need to work at increasing the revenue of the Public Hospital Authority in order to provide better equipment, supplies, repairs, maintenance, etc. Whether the model is beneficial to the people of the Bahamas in 2025 is certainly a reasonable question. And I think we may have outlived the utility of the model.
Wouldn't you agree that the Physician Alliance is actually exploiting government resources and the Bahamian people, since they really have not made any meaningful contribution?
That is rubbish. That is absolute
Tell me
rubbish.
when
That
you,
is absolute
then
rubbish.
tell me when you, as Minister of Health, laid on the table of the House of Assembly
Mr. Munker,
hear me out first,
Mr.
a
Munker,
report showing their contribution and the profit which
Mr.
the
Munker,
Public Hospital
please
Authority
do
derived.
not repeat nonsense, okay?
So tell me.
So,
Tell me.
Physicians Alliance and the government of the Bahamas shares the profits made, and I want to be very clear.
Have you ever tabled that in the House of Assembly as minister? Have you ever tabled that? Have you ever tabled that?
When I became a senator in 2011, or was it 2011, I had owned shares in Physicians Alliance, and I divested of my shares. So I have no interest whatsoever. Nobody in my family, none of my children, my wife, nobody.
What about your leadership?
Okay?
What about your political leadership?
My brother, you know, if we're going to have a conversation, let's have a conversation.
Well, I mean,
Okay?
is that not reasonable?
So
If I ask you,
I am not aware of who the beneficial owners of shares are in Physicians Alliance since I divested of my shares back in 2011, as I was required to do so. Okay? And so if there is another person in leadership who would have served as a senator or a minister who maintained an interest in Physicians Alliance and who did not divulge, then let's bring it to light.
but wouldn't you agree with me that you had a duty to lay on the table of the House whatever monies that the Public Hospital Authority and the Physician Alliance collectively
Yes.
made?
Absolutely.
And I want to find out from you, and I want to find out from you, have you ever done that?
Yes. When we lay the audited financial statements of the Public Hospitals Authority, it outlines very clearly where monies came from, where monies went. Now, what I acknowledge that the audited financial statements of the Public Hospital Authority, at least when I was minister, was not up to date. Absolutely.
It was not up to date.
They were not up to date.
When you were minister,
When I was minister.
and what did you do to correct that?
Well, what you do is you seek to get it up to date. When I was chairman of the Mortgage Corporation, similarly, the audited financial statements were not up to date.
Was Dr. Menace...
If you look at many of the publicly owned corporations in the Bahamas that are required to lay on the floor or the table of the House of Assembly every year, many of them are not up to date.
But that doesn't make it right, does it?
I didn't say it was right.
When you were on the Housing Commission, was Menace a member of that? Hubert Alexander Menace?
No.
When you were Minister of Health, did Dr. Hubert Menace have any shares in the Physician Alliance?
None that I am aware of.
And you're not aware, you've never been aware that he...
None that I am aware of.
You've never heard that Dr. Hubert Menace had shares in...
Mr. Monica, I have heard all manner of allegations about all manner of human beings.
But you've never heard about Dr. Menace?
I refuse to repeat them in the absence of evidence.
But
Okay?
as Minister
And so
of Health,
if
you would not
if
have
wish-
been in a
if you
position.
wish- if
You would not have
wish-
been in a position to know who all the shareholders were.
I'm sure if I asked, I could probably find out.
And you're saying
Don't forget, at one point in time, I was a director of Physicians Alliance. That was
Right.
back in the early 2000s.
yeah, and was Menace
And Menace was the chairman of Physicians Alliance, chairman of the board.
Okay, well, that's much better. You see, I raised that point with you because he is in the newspaper criticizing the government over the fact that his brother was not able to have a surgery in the Bahamas, and he and his brother, both multimillionaires, he sent him to the Cayman Islands. And I think something is fundamentally wrong that if Dr. Menace is a partner in the Physician Alliance and they own or co-own the private ward and the private surgical ward, something got to be wrong for Menace to be complaining and improve the situation.
I think we need to set our sights a little bit higher. Basically,
But help me.
basically, what Bahamians deserve is a state-of-the-art facility that has the capacity to train young doctors, nurses, and other ancillary staff.
Isn't that what the government is doing now?
No, they're not.
Isn't the government building
Would you allow me to
modern
would you allow me to finish?
hospitals?
Would you allow me to finish?
I will allow you, but
Okay.
isn't the government doing
They
that?
are building a maternal child health building hospital, which will in no way manage the types of problems that Bahamians are dying from every day. So people die from heart disease, they die from cancer, they die from trauma. None of these facilities that are being proposed will in any way address those problems. And so it is dumb, it is stupid, yes, I use those words, for this administration to now hypothecate $300+ million to go build a hospital that is not going to deal with the problems that's killing Bahamians right now.
So what problem will it be dealing with?
Having babies, okay, and managing pediatrics, and there are very few pediatric inpatients in the hospital these days, very few. So somebody get this bright idea in their head that, oh, let's go build a maternal child health hospital. It is not going to deal with trauma. It is not going to deal with cancer. It is not going to deal with kidney failure. It's not going to deal with hypertension. It ain't going to deal with diabetes. Why does that make sense? It makes no sense. It is dumb. It is stupid. And so if you want to impact the health of Bahamians, then focus the money on the problems that Bahamian people have. Okay? Don't go waste the money on some pie in the sky white elephant. That is what our people need, to have their real needs. You know how long people spend in accident emergency? Waiting for a bed. Days and days and days, weeks and weeks.
But there are available,
and that will not be impacted by a maternal child health facility.
Are available beds in what the Physician Alliance were wrongly
Mr. Munker,
given.
Come on, you got one ward of some 15 beds. One ward.
And many of them are unoccupied.
That is nonsense. You have no basis of making that assertion.
So
you have no basis of making that assertion.
They're full today.
I don't know whether they're full today.
They're full today.
But most times they're full. Okay? You have sometimes 40, 50 people waiting in a corridor in accident emergency, waiting for a bed. Grandmothers, grandfathers, okay? Having to suffer the indignity of waiting in the hallway, can't pee in privacy. Okay? You got a cafeteria which is out of commission and has been out of commission for the better part of 9 months now. They got to bus in the food in the back of a van in styrofoam to feed our loved ones, right? And you're not prepared to fix that, but you're prepared to go spend some money on.
Are you suggesting to me that there are no repairs taking place at the Princess Margaret Hospital?
I am looking at you and saying that the Minister of Health and Wellness, when the Governor General came, promised the Bahamian people that accident emergency repairs would be finished before the end of January. He misled the people of the Bahamas. It ain't finished. We got a sterilizer at the Rand Memorial Hospital to sterilize the instruments, to clean them for surgery. Been broke down now for better part of a year. They ain't fix it. They refuse to fix it.
Why?
Because they rather spend the money on other nonsense. They want to spend the money on a $180 million contract for a fellow to pave some roads. You want me to go through these contracts?
The roads are not important?
Are they as important as the lives and health of our people?
Well, the government must make up its mind as to its priority.
And obviously their priorities are in the wrong place.
Shouldn't the people,
obviously their priorities in the wrong place.
Shouldn't the people
you got ambulances. Shouldn't
the people of Eleuthera be given good roads?
You used to go out by McDonald's, right?
Who, me?
Yes, you used to go out by McDonald's.
Don't call their name in here.
Okay. By a certain fast food emporium.
Don't call me to put them on blast.
I withdraw.
Please.
I withdraw that.
Because I'm still
There's
trying
a
to get
whole
Bahamians
bunch
to boycott them.
A standard shift ambulances sitting outside CDU. They ain't move.
They have not moved?
They ain't move.
Really?
They ain't move.
I see them on the streets every day, doctor.
No, you do not.
Yes, I do.
No, you do not.
Yes, I do.
Because the overwhelming majority of the people that work in EMS can't drive them.
Right.
What do you mean they can't drive
Because
them?
they stick shift, standard shift.
They're not in service.
So you're saying
They are not in service.
They're not in service, Senator.
They
my
are not in
spiritual
service.
advisor,
They're
that
not
is
in
not
service.
true.
It is. They are not. Two
They're
or
not in
three
service.
of them are being used.
Yeah, that's about it.
But the other 10 or so, I just pass here on the way to your
So
studio.
you're saying to me that the government can't find anyone who could drive shift?
No, what I'm saying is the government of the Bahamas wasted the people of the Bahamas money buying vehicles that cannot be used.
Because there are staff who can't drive stick shift. That's what you're saying to me.
No, they can't, Senator.
Well, Dr.
Why
Michael
did you
Darwin-
not do your research in the first place and buy the appropriate vehicles?
So what is the appropriate vehicle?
An automatic vehicle
yeah.
big enough to take people of average size in the Bahamas, and average is bigger than me and you.
Right.
Okay?
200 to 300 pounds.
Wasted money.
Yeah. They don't move.
I see them on the streets.
They got cow webs by the tire. They don't move, Senator. I
I
check
see
it out
them on the
myself.
streets.
All right. So
I'll check it tomorrow. to
yeah,
see if
check
they
it,
got
check
bigger
it, check
cow
it,
webs
check
for
it.
the tire.
And if I have misspoken, I will come back on your show and I'll give a public apology.
They don't move, Senator. They don't move.
Well, you
I
and I
have the
could meet
facts.
there.
We could go there right after the show.
No, it wouldn't be good after the show.
As a matter of fact, I understand the government was getting ready to contract a company to drive those ambulances.
And pay them big money.
All right?
And pay them big money. Okay?
Because the drivers, they can't drive them.
But something
So
gotta be
why-
wrong. Something
why-
got to be wrong that in 2025 they cannot be trained to drive it.
Well, they could be.
It's a very easy vehicle to drive.
They could.
Why would you, in 2025, have to outsource the sterilization of surgical equipment to the private sector? In Grand Bahama,
Well, I want to know
Day
why
in and
in
day out, day in and
2025
day out.
we should have private doctors owning a major share in the government-owned Princess Margaret Hospital.
it is a drop in the bucket.
I think
And
it's a
and
rip-off.
and I put it to you.
And it started in 1996.
I put it to you that, the model may no longer be appropriate, and we can move beyond it. I don't have a problem with that.
But you're not a shareholder anymore.
I don't have a problem with it. I have no problem with it. What I will say is that the hospital is underfunded. What I will say is that successive administrations have not provided the means to do maintenance of equipment.
Why did the F&M not do so? You were the Minister of Health. You knew what had to happen. Why did the F&M not do it?
The financial support requested was not provided.
And who would you have asked for that?
Well, I mean, that is something that goes to cabinet, eh?
I see. So the PLP has failed as it relates to the Princess Margaret Hospital, and the F&M equally has failed.
I said in my opening statement when you asked me about healthcare,
Who
that
should we look?
share,
Who should we look?
share the
Who
responsibility.
should we ask to solve this problem, since you have
So I put it.
confessed that both the PLP and the F&M has failed?
I put it in the words of the honourable member for Engliston, the Minister of Education. You, the government now, fix it.
Okay.
Okay? It's about priorities. And if the priorities are in the right place, we will make the transition.
Well, hold on, Dr. Dwayne Sands. This is Freedom March. My doctor is Dr. Dwayne Sands. So you understand that, eh? We'll be right back after the break. Hold on, everybody. You'll be able to ask some questions when we return.
Do you have something to say to the Senator? Call Freedom March at 323-7775. Toll free from anywhere in the Bahamas at 242-300-0045. Freedom March with Rodney Munker, only on ILTV. This is Freedom March with Rodney Monker.
Welcome back to Freedom March. My name is Rodney Monker. Dr. Dwayne Sands, the national chairman of the official opposition, is my special guest. But before I continue with him, Tanya is on the line. Hello, Tanya.
Good afternoon, Rodney Monker, and good afternoon, spiritual advisor. Tanya coming to you once again live from Shop Smart Department Store, where we say we're here for you whatever season of your life. And of course, we're officially in the month of love, and everybody knows by now that love lives here at Shop Smart. So if you are in the mood for love and you need to get some gift ideas or some ideas of how to decorate your home for this Valentine's Day season, come on into Shop Smart. We have everything from the throw pillows, we've got curtains, we've got your chair covering in the 3-piece sets, we've got the cute little birds there for Valentine's, we've got your vases, we've got your sheets, we have your comforter sets, we have got your mirrors. Come on, let's go into the kitchen area. So if you want to have the whole kitchen looking like Valentine's, we've got your frying pan set. We've got your tea kettle, your dishes. We've got your pots. We've got your small loaf pans, your little crock pots. We've got all sorts of nice little Valentine's decor. We've got your candy dishes, your cake stands, and of course, look at these beautiful little love decor with the flowers coming out of them. All of these are great ideas for you for this Valentine's Day season. You can make up these big soup mugs that we have. You can turn something like that into a basket. We have your white pitchers. We've got the gnomes. We've got all sorts of things for you right here at Shop Smart this and every season. And you know, we're right here on Marquis Street. We're open Monday to Saturday from 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. for your shopping convenience. Or you can call us at 698-1051 or 698-1052. And like I like to say, remember to shop early, to shop often, and to shop smart.
Thank you, Tanya. Thank you, thank you. Well, Mr. Producer, you can open up the line. Folks, I have Dr. Dwayne Sands. I expect you to be very, very respectful. After all, he is my medical doctor. Okay? So I'm playing doctor from this point. So if there's anyone on the line, just signal me. And hello.
Good afternoon, Mr. Monk. How are you?
We are fine. How are you?
I'm great. I'm calling from the great constituency of Golden Gate. Good evening to your guest.
Good afternoon, sir. How are you?
Good afternoon, Mr. Sands. Mr. Sands, I got to say, sir, I voted for the F&M administration once in my life. I'll never do it again. And listen to your interview with Mr. Monker. saying are you so brave if you are ducking questions that the Bahamian people are really concerned about? The F&M administration don't build homes. You're against the new hospital that is going to be built. I got to say, sir, if this what the F&M is coming with in the next general election, y'all are going to be defeated very poorly again. Have a blessed day, sir.
You want bet? You want bet on that?
I'm willing to bet.
You want bet on that? But you
I'm
can
willing to bet.
You can get surprised.
My special
Okay,
advisor.
then. Okay, special advisor.
Yeah.
Time coming soon enough. Have a good day, gentlemen.
Thank you.
Right.
I noticed how the gentleman nicely cherry-picked the topics and claimed that I didn't answer the questions. I believe that I answered the questions as you put them to me. This is your show, and I'm sure you take license with the questions that you wish to pose. But there is never a chance that this chairman will ever evade a question. Now, you may not like the answer.
But you will not evade the question.
Absolutely not.
Hello, welcome to Freedom March.
Sir.
Yes,
Mr. Manso, how are you doing, sir?
I'm fine, sir.
Dr. Dwington,
Good afternoon. How are you, sir?
I hope spiritual advisor get a nomination for the party because he's a pusher. Why do Mr. Minister have to go through a cleaning aspect?
This question keeps being raised, and I'll say it once again, that we have made a determination that everybody vying for candidacy for the Free National Movement would go through a particular process, without exception. Now, not that the Progressive Liberal Party is any standard, because they're not. But it's interesting that they have, they say, imitation is the sincerest form of flattery. But in their training program, it is the same requirement. Everybody is required to take the course. That came out of the mouth of Chairman Fred Mitchell.
Well, that's good leadership, isn't it?
So when the PLP does it, it's good leadership. When we do it, it's unfair.
Oh, no, I'm with you. I think that Dr. Minish should be made to come to classes. And if he doesn't, you give him a big X, and the next thing, no nomination. I'm with you on that,
So I think it's, I'm sure that there's a considerable amount of political mischief with this
well,
train.
It's Minnis creating the mischief. It's him who's complaining. He's telling everybody in the country that y'all are insisting that he must come to class and he didn't pass his test. So you see, it ain't me, it's him. Hello, welcome to Freedom March.
Good day, Mr. Manka. How are you?
I am fine. How are you?
I am wonderful. This is Shanika, and good afternoon to you again.
Good afternoon, ma'am. How are you?
I am wonderful. Okay, quickly, I just want to say something to our Bahamian people, but also I have a question for you, Dr. Sands.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, in terms of us wanting a better future, I believe that we need to change much of our mindset. Because, as the Bible says, as a man thinketh, so is he. So towards the future that we want, our mind needs to be recalibrated towards that direction. Because we can't say one thing out of one side of our mouth, but still expect or be living differently or have that same old mindset. And when it comes to politics, I believe that we need to hold our politicians more their feet to the fire in terms of expectations. When you say you're going to do this and expecting them to do that, that when report card day comes, they did exactly what they said. And that we don't stand for the okie dokie, but I just want a ham or a roast. We are more than that. And so, Mr. Sands, do you believe that there should be more vetting that goes on with those candidates? Could there be, even classes held for them? Do you believe that? And also, what do you think about more collaboration between the F&M and the PLC, sir? I will come off and listen to what you have to say. Thank you for your time.
I think the caller makes some very astute observations and comments. Unfortunately, politics in this country, to quote the now deceased Philip Galanis, has become a blood sport. And the level of collaboration between people that may see things differently has dropped. One thing I can say, and forgive me to acknowledge that you are my friend, okay? You suggested that I was only your doctor, but I consider you a real patriot. We don't always see eye to eye, but I have no question about your love for this country. And so when I see a Rodney Munker who aligns himself one way politically, now he may claim that he goes another way, and then there are other individuals who have a different view. The one thing that we always ought to be focused on is making this country better. Now we could argue, we could row, we could fight, but the bottom line is we want a better Bahamas. And if we keep that end in mind, I think we would get a lot further along. But unfortunately, we're too busy tearing each other down. This ought never be personal. That, because I disagree with you, I want to see you do poorly, or I don't want you to eat, or I don't want you to have a job, or there should be no room for that in this country. We should want all of our brothers and sisters to enjoy the very best life. As to vetting, as to education, as to determining who are fit and proper individuals to not only run, but to represent the people of the Bahamas, for me, it was one of the greatest privileges that I've had. And I've had the privilege of caring for patients my entire career. So, you know, while I still have breath, and I'm able to try and make this country better, I'm going to try and do the best that I can.
Hello, welcome to Freedom March.
Dr. Sands and Mr. Monka.
Go ahead.
Afternoon.
Good afternoon. Dr. Sands, I hope we're keeping a scorecard of this administration, all the promises that they've made about hospital building, schools, docks, airport. I mean, they've promised us everything but the moon. Like you mentioned, the lower light bills, etc. We have a prime minister in government now who marched with the placards detesting the number of murder, and now we have the highest murder rate ever. So, Dr. Sands, I'd like to hear you speak to some of these promises that we've been getting. Elections coming up, and I see that they're making even more promises again, without fulfilling half of the ones that they've already promised. Please, let's hold this government accountable. Hopefully we could win Monka back over. Because I remember one time when he was an advocate for the people, but now he seems to be carrying the banner for the PLP. And, you know, it's not looking good for us if that continues to happen.
You know, it is said that a promise is a comfort to a fool.
Yeah.
And sadly, successive politicians, particularly in this administration, have been promising and promising and promising. They promised that we would see improved light bills. The light bills went up by 163%.
Light bills?
163%.
No.
Hold on, let me finish. Between January and February of 2025, the fuel surcharge in the Commonwealth of the Bahamas went up, not down.
Well, you must be living in the wrong area, because where I live, my light bill is anywhere between $66 and $120.
I said the fuel surcharge, the dollar amount per kilowatt hour in January, and if you want, I'll pull it up and I'll read it on air.
I'm not going to argue with your maths. I'm telling you that I pay between $66 and $120 a month. Now, I can't beat that.
So what unfortunately has happened...
Are you suggesting my light bill should have been cheaper than that then?
No, what I'm suggesting is that the fuel surcharge, less than 800 kilowatts, went up in February to 16.25 cents per kilowatt hour, and over 800 kilowatts, it went up to 20 cents per kilowatt hour. And in the month of January, it was less than that.
Well, all I could say, notwithstanding your calculation, my light bill is $66, between $66 and $120. And every time it gets below $120, I'm suspicious as to whether or not BPL is pulling something for me, because I'm shocked.
So I just told you what it was in January. In the month before, it was 14 cents, less than 800 kilowatts, 14 cents per kilowatt hour, and 18 cents. So it has gone up.
So why,
despite the fact that they promised that they was going to reduce the electricity
costs? Why is my light bill so cheap then?
Because you don't use much current.
Yeah, that's all.
That's all.
What do you mean I don't use much current?
And it's December, January, February, it's winter.
Yeah.
What you mean?
But God help you when you got to turn the air conditioner on. Okay?
Goodness of mercy. Hello, welcome to Freedom March.
Hello?
Yes.
Yes, Mr. Manka.
Yes, ma'am.
Oh, Dr. Sands.
Good afternoon, ma'am. How are you?
Hold on, sir. Don't let go. It's always a change in life. And you will be the star shining. Let Mr. Munker stay there, because he don't know whether he's PLP or F&M. Don't mind these people what they're saying. Every government go in there and make mistake. Every government go in there and make a mistake. Right now, all the government doing is now they ain't doing the eyes now because I ain't get no money. And I waiting to go now to get my eyes done.
No, the lights are off in Cuba. As soon as the Cubans turn on the lights.
They give all kind of excuses.
Listen to me, woman. As soon as the Cubans get that.
Woman,
Miss, I'm sorry, Miss.
Listen, you just talk stupidness, you know. Don't call me no miss. I know Haitian. You say Haitian.
Okay. As soon as the electricity returns to Cuba, you'll be the first on the plane, okay?
Dr. Sands, hold on, please. I coming to see you next week.
Thank you.
Okay.
Hello, welcome to Freedom Match.
Okay.
Hello?
Mr. Monker.
Sir.
Great, and to your guest.
Good afternoon, sir.
Mr. Monker, good afternoon to the Bahamas. Mr. Monker, I would like to ask Mr. Sands a question.
Go ahead.
Mr. Sands, could you define for me what is a dismal failure?
A dismal failure?
Yes, sir.
If you were to look that up in an encyclopedia, you'd see a picture of the Progressive Liberal Party as a dismal failure in governance.
I thought you would say that. Mr. Sands, let me put it to you, my friend, that the Bahamian people do not need a dishonest government to run them in this country. I'm going to tell you, it is very dishonest and disingenuous for you to come to the airways every time and say that the government under the Progressive Liberal Party is a dismal failure. There are many great things that this government is doing.
Name one accomplishment that they've had. Name one.
They have reduced the VAT that you all have put up to 12% twice. Okay? There are a number of great things that this government is doing for the Bahamian people, but yet you keep coming to the Bahamian people and telling them that this government, who is doing way better than the former administration, is a dismal failure. So if they are a dismal failure now, doing the things that they are doing, when you guys locked us down and do all of the foolishness that you all did to us, our kids are dumber. They can't get a proper education. Couldn't get a proper education under your administration. We were locked down. We couldn't. The same medication, y'all did all kinds of things for the wealthy to come in. All right. There was no. Listen, I don't understand. When you say that the PLP is a dismal failure, then to judge your former administration, I don't know what you would tell the Bahamian people that you were.
All right, so let's answer it. You have an economy which has no headwinds, which is underperforming. You have an economy that is limping along with no Dorian, no pandemic at 1.6%. A disgrace. You know, where's the creativity? You talk about $9 million visitors, 9 million visitors per year, who come here and buy a T-shirt and a Coke soda and then go back on the ship with no money circulating in the economy. You have downtown Nassau looking as run down as it was. You have the view of the Bahamas as a nation for sale now, where you have senior police officers indicted in a court of law in the United States of America.
F&Ms. They F&M policemen. That policeman is an F&M.
You know, it is. It is gangsterism. That's gangsterism.
Yes, but it's an
gangsterism.
But it's an
F&M. It is gangsterism.
But he's F&M.
Caller, let me ask a question. Caller.
He's F&M.
Let me ask a question. You blame it. Okay, so.
Caller, thank you very much.
No, don't let him go yet. All right, so we have a D average. We have a D for our students.
Next call. Hello, welcome to Freedom Match. Hello.
Hello.
Yes, sir.
Paramanta.
Sir.
How are you?
I'm fine.
Listen to me, Dr. Dwayne Sands.
Sir, how are you?
In the space of 4.5 years, how many houses did the F&M government build?
Not many.
How many?
I said not many.
None. Not many. None. Now, listen to me. Here in Bamboo Town, we have Ramona Parkinson and Rhonda Wells, both of them saying they are the F&M candidates. in the consistency against me in Monroe. We have Tara Hunt and the Barnett lady say they are the F&M candidates. Here up in the area where you went the other day, up in Carmichael, you have you on the road, gentlemen. The F&M now reminds me of the Wally boys. Will the real F&M stand up? Who are the real F&M?
Well, we're the ones who raise the concern when the Ministry of Housing takes an illegal loan for $20 million to build houses and say they can build 200 and they only build 20. And don't say where the rest of the money don't say where the rest of the money go. Okay? Where did the rest of the money go? How is it that the money that was supposed to be spent on housing didn't make it into houses?
Well, I can tell you this.
Can you explain that to me? Where did the $20 million go? Where did the $20 million go?
Joe Bad Colby have you on the run.
Oh, really?
She have you on the run. You can't go back to Elizabeth no more. You're being up in Long Island. They don't want you. They want Peter Turngrass. You're going up in the area the other day back in the back of Carmichael Road trying to knock it up poor old man who made their working all his life. You a dismal failure. You are a failure because you have no ground to stand on.
Well, we'll see how this plays out. We'll see how this plays out. We'll see how this plays out, sir. And thank you for your comments.
Hello, welcome to Freedom March.
On Mr. Speaker and the great time.
Yes.
How y'all doing today?
Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon. Mr. Dwayne said he made a valid point because all of the government government of this country, you know what they do? They blame one another. We are not looking for blame. We are looking for solutions. We are looking for solutions. So each government, any government come in and just ignore what had passed and move on. Move on. Solve the big people problem. Thank you.
Yeah, I think the caller makes an excellent observation that, fundamentally this back and forth, which is a part of the political process, would be better tolerated if there was steady progress being made so that we, move forward, upward, onward together. And I am not impressed that we have made that degree of forward, upward, onward progress.
This is powerful. Hello, welcome to Freedom March. Hello?
Hello?
Yes?
No, I'm speaking to Mr. Sands.
He's here. Go ahead.
Oh, no. I want to say to Mr. Sands, he forget Adrian Gibson and Lanisha Roll, but you want to down the PLP, okay? Tell him clear that up. Okay? Thank you very much.
What do you say? What did the person say?
She wants to know if you've forgotten Adrian Gibson. His case has been going on now, must be for about 3 years. And
so you have to leave it. It's before the court.
Lanisha Roll.
It's before the court, so you have to leave it.
It is a matter that's sub judice.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, talking about sub judice, his case started again on Friday. It's perhaps one of the longest cases in Bahamian. Hello, welcome to Freedom March. Hello?
Yes, good evening.
Yes, sir.
To you and your guests. Good evening, Dr. Sands.
Hey, Peter Houghton, how are you, sir?
I'm doing good, I'm doing good. I listened to you just now, and I smiled when you said that, the PLP has done nothing basically in their tenure thus far. And, but yet, Dr. Menace and the last administration, which you were part of, including it being a minister, did a number of things, including free education and so forth, but not one day. Persons who served at the pleasure of Dr. Menace could say anything to the fact that was accomplished under his tenure. But yet we want to lambaste him and as if he's not an F&M.
Are you calling as an FNM or are you calling as a PLP that you are now?
Dr. Dwayne Sands, let's not play politics on this radio.
I just asked you a simple question, Mr. Dowden. Are you calling as a PLP? Are you now a PLP?
Remember.
Are you calling as a
I'm
PLP?
a voter. And I'm a Bahamian citizen. And I am subject to
Mr. Houghton, don't bother inboxing me after this conversation since you choose to make this phone call right now, okay? Have a good afternoon.
Yeah.
Well, Dr. Dwayne Sands, it's the end of the show. You got to come back. Give me a right hand salute. This is Peter March. God save the Commonwealth of the Bahamas.
God save the King.
God save Dr. Dwayne Sands. God save the King. It's powerful. We'll see Dr. Dwayne Sands in 1 month from today. Do well, everybody. Until we meet again, God save the King.
The thoughts, views, and comments expressed by Rodney Munker, his guests, and callers on Freedom March are not necessarily those